What is up, my ninjas? This is Strident, and today I bring you one of the crowning jewels of my collection. This was an insane find. I thought it was going to be a holy grail, one of those ones where you search for a long time, you never find it, and years from now you find it. But anyway, my beautiful fiance and my son were shopping for a birthday gift for one of his friends, and they saw this at a local Toys R Us. So they called me, and I'm like, I am there. I saw this on the His Tank forums, and they're like, it's been spotted, but good luck if you ever see it. And then here we go. And it's funny because I've always wanted a C-130, because when I was a kid I had Crazy Legs and I had Ripcord and I had some other cheap parachute guys, but I didn't have anything for them to jump out of. And when I learned from my uncle that this is the name of the big planes that they jump out of, I was like, I wish they had one for G.I. Joe. Now 30 years later, here we go. Let me start off by saying this plane is massive. Massive. I mean, it's pretty much what every single G.I. Joe collector should have one of these in their collection. You can see it in comparison to the Batman Forever Batwing. And before this, my Batwing was my biggest plane. This thing dwarfs the Batwing. They're about the same length from front to back, but you can see for yourself. It dwarfs the Batwing. I mean, the generosity of the company. What is it? True Heroes or Chap May. The generosity of them with their plastic is just insane. Now you see these several size comparisons because I just can't get over the size. It dwarfs every other vehicle next to the pit, which I'm not going to do a size comparison because it's the pit. It's not even a plane. That is a True Heroes Chinook helicopter. And I thought that thing was big. But anyway, the C-130, or the Shark as it's called, it is filled to the brim with little details, decals. I got my G.I. Joe decals on there because, like I said, as I do my research, I've been learning that the True Heroes, Chap May, Power Team, Elite, these lines, it's really one line that's been renamed and split up all over the place, but those lines make figures and vehicles that work really well with your G.I. Joe collections, and you kind of get more of the realistic edge that's missing from Hasbro stuff with these guys. Now these are the figures and accessories that come with it. There's a couple more that I'll go over in just a sec, but that's a shitload of stuff. To release the wings so you can get inside, you hold on the handle and press down the black button and reveal the innards, and they're beautiful innards. The interior has fold-up seating with weapons storage, a removable computer and table, and gun turrets. It's beautiful. Everything is functional. You can fold the seat up when they're not using it, fold it down when you need them to use it. Cargo bay opens up, and the only bad thing about this vehicle, and it's not really bad, it's just the size. It's slightly smaller. The clearance is smaller than on the Chinook helicopter. So I mean, if you have both, then you really don't lose out on anything. But if you have only one of the two and you want to use it as a transport, you're gonna have to transport small Jeeps, because there's a lot of Jeeps that come with these figures or these vehicles, motorcycles, or the Armadillo or the Panther in the C-130, and vamps and stuff in the helicopter. But you can fit the actual True Heroes figures and your G.I. Joes in here with no problem. You can mix and match if you want, and that's the beauty of it. There's more than enough room for you to go crazy with what you want to use. Shit, you could probably use your Marvel Universe figures or your Infinite Heroes in here too. I know you could use the Infinite Heroes because they're smaller than the Marvel Universe figures and GI Joes. Um, but I mean, look at all this detail. Those are decals and stickers and whatnot. But I mean, for $39.99, this is a shitload of detail and a shitload of toy. You know, a cool thing about the weapons and everything. Um, though a lot of the weapons that you get with these things, with most of the Chap May and Power Team Elite and True Heroes, they're not to scale. So you could use them with other toys, mainly Marvel Legends, DC Universe Classics, or anything else in that scale. It kind of helps you build up your arsenals for your characters. One thing that I dig about these the most is that I feel like G.I. Joe should have a little bit of sci-fi and a little bit of realism thrown in. So I mix and match what kind of weapons my Joes use. I like to have real world vehicles and in a small dose of sci-fi in there. Like I have the Rhino. I have it's an APC and a helicopter pretty much. Then I have the Pit, which is a mobile headquarters. Pretty believable. They have those. They exist. They don't look like this, but they're a mobile headquarters. Then I have Humvees and other things to go with it. But you get the idea. I have vehicles and weapons that are very much real world, but then I sprinkled in some sci-fi so that the Joes have some high-tech stuff to accent their futuristic gear, or their high-tech stuff to accent their real-world gear. Sorry. I believe Cobra, on the other hand, should have the crazy, far-out, insane, future tech, because that's their bread and butter, and it makes the battles more interesting. I mean, the only lasers the Joes use are those of Flash and their laser rifles from like the 25th anniversary figures, and then everything else is missiles, bullets, bombs. Whereas the Cobras, I like the fact that the Cobras have, Neo Vipers that use plasma guns and all kinds of crazy stuff. The fact that the Baroness in the movie had the little plasma pistols that had the big, they fired the huge shots. That just seems cooler because it gives the Cobras an edge, and it gives the Joes a little bit more to work around, and it makes the battles more interesting. I'm a kid of the 80s, so Contra was like one of the first action games I've played, and to be a soldier in the game and fighting aliens and giant mechs and all this craziness, and all you're doing is you flip over it, you throw a grenade, you shoot it. That's awesome to me. So I try to keep that thought process going when I'm collecting as far as Joes go. And this helicopter adds that little bit of, or this plane, I'm sorry, it adds that little bit of realism that you need to help anchor your Joe team. And I know this is a lot of thought, but I also have these things on display, and also this is the kind of thought process I would go into if I was, a writer or a designer on G.I. Joe. And I noticed that, in recent years, G.I. Joe is kind of leaning more towards realism and less towards the sci-fi, which I wish they wouldn't do, because the sci-fi part kind of helps differentiate it from real life, because if you make it more realistic, then the sci-fi elements that once were pure sci-fi, they're pure realism now, and then, you have a little bit of issues with contrasting, or not contrasting, but overlapping ideas and whatnot. But overall, like I said, vehicles like this that, are done by True Heroes, Chap May, and Power Team Elite, they do the job making your team and your little 1/18th scale military seem that much more real, if that makes more sense. You got to have transports of different types. You got to have, heavily armored vehicles. You got to have fast, lightweight vehicles. You got to have, everything has a specialty and a reason. And this is perfect. If you got your fly boys, this is what you need for them to jump out of so they can start doing their flying, you know? If you need, you got weapons and stuff that you can put in crates, you can pack this thing full of crates, open the back, and just let them fall. As long as you got your parachutes, of course. So, I mean, there's just a lot that you can do with this thing, and I'm excited to have it. I'm so happy that my fiance saw this, or my son. I'm so happy I was able to get it. I don't know. I think you guys will enjoy it too. So if you see it, it's $39.99. I think this one was specifically a Toys R Us exclusive, but in general, True Heroes are where it's at as far as getting, you know, bookending some of your Joe vehicles and weapons and getting more of the real world stuff, you know, sprinkled in there. And, you know, look at the generosity of the plastic used for this vehicle. I mean, 34-inch wings and a 33.5-inch body. That's huge as far as length goes. That's huge. I mean, they really, that's really huge, and it's for less than $50. Whereas, you know, the Rhino or the Pit, all of those are over $40. You know, matter of fact, the Rhino was $50 when it first came out. I'm sure it's probably more now because it's harder to find. And the Pit, it was $100 when it came out, and I know it's dropping, but it's still probably over $50, and it's close, but it's not 34 inches. It's like 3 feet, I think they said, 3 feet all together when it's all opened out and sprawled all over the place. So, you know, this is a worthwhile purchase. So anyway, I hope you dug the review. I hope that, you know, gave you some insight, and hope you dug the images. I had fun shooting those pictures, and stay tuned for more reviews. As always, check out the website. All right, I'll be back and talk to you guys later. Peace.